Severe weather hit the Triad overnight. High winds toppled trees in Davidson County. Take a look at this storm damage on Whitney Road in Saxapahaw. That's in Alamance County. We also have video of a tree that crashed through an apartment in West Greensboro. Leanna Haley said she and her neighbors had to evacuate their building. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Eric Chilton and Tahesha Moise. We are practicing social distancing here. Now, this is an interactive news show. It's built to connect you with your community. We are monitoring your comments right now on WFMY News 2's Facebook page. Let's stick now with some weather damage and take a look at the current power outages. Duke Energy is working to repair more than 6,000 outages across the Carolinas, but here in the Triad, almost all power is restored. There are nearly 400 outages across the Piedmont Triad. Of those, more than 100 are in Forsyth County. In Alamance County, where a tornado touched down, there are about 20 outages. A Davidson County grandmother died this morning when a tree fell onto her home. Now, her family tells WFMY News 2's Jess Winters that that tree narrowly missed her husband, who was asleep in the same bed. Jess joins us live now with a report.
Family tells me that 61-year-old Beverly Long was a staple in this community, gone much too soon. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office says around 6 or 6:15 this morning, a tree came crashing down onto her home. The tree was in her front yard and it hit directly into her bedroom. This happened on Linwood Southmont Road in Lexington. Her husband Maurice was in that same bed, but he walked away with a broken wrist and a broken rib. Unfortunately, Beverly, only inches, maybe a foot away from him, did not make it. Her niece Teresa Hurt describes Beverly as an amazing woman who just this weekend was preparing and distributing Easter baskets for kids in the neighborhood.
Just always ready to help out anybody in need. I mean, she was a Sunday school teacher. She was active in her church. She was a longtime bus driver for Davidson County. She made her own Easter baskets and put candy in it for the kids in the neighborhood, and she distributed that, you know, the day before Easter, and that's the kind of person she was.
Hurt says that the pain is unimaginable. Just 2 weeks ago, she was dealing with the loss of her mother and now her aunt, and she said they both haven't had a proper funeral, and it's hard to plan amid the coronavirus pandemic, but she says support from the community is getting her through.
Jess, thank you. In southern Alamance County, families are recovering from a devastating line of storms after a tornado touched down there this morning. Now, despite incredible damage, one family told WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty that spirits are high because they're lucky to be alive.
On East Greensboro Chapel Hill Road, it's easy to see where an apparent tornado twisted trees, brought down power lines, and tore the roof off of this home belonging to the Glovers. Alerted first by their phones, Javelle Glover and his mother Samantha knew the tornado threat was becoming all too real when the wind picked up.
It's hard to describe. Kind of like, you ever heard like a train moving on the tracks and it's like super like vibrating? Like the wind, it got super loud. And then like that's when I heard that. I knew it was gonna take down the house.
It's like a train. It was just like that, like something like train going very fast. And as soon as I got up to see what was going on, you ain't gonna be nervous going in the living room. I mean, going in the dining room. But thank God I didn't, because when the wind just zoom, that's when I got down the floor.
The two of them took shelter with their dog in the bathtub as the storm destroyed the home around them.
House is tore, like we seen like the roof was gone. It was crazy. Everything is just everywhere. Like just places from my room is like all the way, things from my room is like all the way in the living room. Just crazy, it just blew everywhere.
Walls caving in, insulation and debris covering the house. Nearby family came over right away to help, salvaging what they could. In the surrounding area, a similar scene. A shed collapsed, trees and branches stretched out across the road, live power lines littering the ground. Amidst this devastation, the Glovers are grateful.
It's good to be alive. It is good to be alive. Yeah, I got family. I got my sister, I got my dad, I got my aunt. I got somewhere to stay. They might not want me, they ain't got no choice.
Again, they are just so thankful that nobody was hurt. In Alamance County, Alma McCarty, WFMY News 2.
The damage is widespread from Wilkes County to Lexington to Greensboro. Homes and apartments deemed unsafe after trees came crashing down on top of them. WFMY News 2's Stacey Spivey spoke to people affected in those areas.
Well, things look a lot different outside right now than they did earlier this morning. The sun is out. It's actually turned out to be a pretty nice day, but there were nasty storms that rolled in through the Triad that damaged a lot of homes along the way.
Cleanup already begun after storms pummeled through the Triad early Monday morning.
It was one of the scariest things I had ever experienced, ever.
From Millers Creek to Lexington, high winds caused massive trees to crash into homes. In Greensboro, several families evacuated from this apartment complex after trees fell into their building. This video one woman captured right after those trees hit. In Lexington, Megan Robeson's home torn in half by a tree pushed over by powerful winds.
It's very surreal. I don't think I've actually taken it all in.
Walking out of her bedroom at 4 a.m. to find a tree in her newly renovated living room.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, but I'm just glad we're safe and no one was injured.
And in Wilkes County, large oak trees on the ground surrounding Alicia Key's home. The tree damaging her patio and roof, but thankfully barely touching the bedroom she was in.
Honestly, I think somebody was looking out for us because the branches brushed the windows, but it didn't even break the screen.
Now, I spoke to a lot of people in Guilford County today. They tell me that they're just happy that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Reporting in Greensboro, Stacey Spivey, WFMY News 2.
Stacey, thank you. So many of you sent us pictures and videos of the damage in your area, really being our eyes and ears on the ground and sending us those images once it was safe to do so. Digital guru Jalen Gilkey has been keeping track of what you're sending. Jalen, what's some of the damage that you've seen?
Yeah, Maddie, we've got widespread damage from across the Triad. Our first image, it comes from Denton. There's a tree down. Here's a pretty large tree across someone's driveway. And then our next image comes from Leah Honey on Starlight Drive in Greensboro. Look at this huge tree's been derooted, ripped aside, and I can't tell. It kind of looks like this car might be a victim here as well. Our next comment comes from Lexington. Look at this photo. This is a massive tree once again across a road, across Kepley Road in Lexington. We go to our next photo. It comes from Guilford College Road, Westview Apartments. Another tree down. It's just widespread damage from across the Triad. It's really unbelievable. And this next photo comes from Damian Russell at the FedEx Express at GS at the here in Greensboro at the airport. And look at this. They caught a lightning strike. It's just unbelievable how quickly and the amount of damage and how widespread the damage is here.
Well, things are certainly changing, and for the better, that's for sure. When we look at our graphics today, boy, winds were, people talking about that sounding like a train. Sometimes I felt like you didn't really have to be near a tornadic type cell to have that sound, because those winds were gusting in some cases up to close to hurricane force. I mean, we were seeing wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's almost that 74 mile per hour threshold for hurricanes. Look at the wind gusts currently. They're still up there, but not that strong. 33 miles per hour. That's still a windy day. 29, that's 33s in Greensboro, 29 miles per hour in Burlington, 22 in Winston-Salem. The maximum wind gusts so far today, 46 in Greensboro, close to 50 in Lexington, and 40 in Winston-Salem. Now, temperatures, we're in the mid to upper 70s right now, but the mountain communities are seeing some upper 50s and low 60s. We will all drop down by tomorrow morning to 50. That's our overnight low tonight with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, a much better day and cooler, 67 with partly sunny skies.
Well, our WFMY News 2 weather team gave live updates on air and online throughout the night. Now, in the event that you lose power, you can still stay connected with us online through our website or the free WFMY News 2 app.
We are taking a look at the latest coronavirus numbers across the state. State health officials are reporting 4,800 cases of the virus, 86 deaths, and over 67,000 tests have been completed. Now, when we take a look at some of the numbers across our area here in the Triad, state health officials are reporting 68 cases in Alamance County. Local health officials tell us that's because LabCorp completed a number of tests with no addresses listed. Now, those tests automatically likely count towards Alamance since LabCorp is based in Alamance County. Alamance health officials, though, reporting only 39 cases and no deaths. Davidson County, 84 cases, 2 deaths. Forsyth County, 119 cases, 4 deaths, and 73 recoveries. Guilford County, 138 cases, 10 deaths. Over in Montgomery County, they've seen 12 cases and 1 death there. Randolph County has 53 cases, 2 deaths. Rockingham, 14 cases, 2 deaths. Stokes, 9 cases, no deaths. Surrey County, 10 cases, no deaths. Wilkes, 4 cases, 1 death. In Yadkin County, 10 cases, no death. Governor Roy Cooper has issued another executive order that takes effect at 5 o'clock tonight. And the order changes operations in retail stores that are still open right now. Stores can only have 5 people inside per 1,000 square feet or 20% of the fire marshal occupancy limit. Stores must mark 6 feet of distance in places where people come in close contacts, like at the checkout lines. And there's also some new cleaning guidelines for those retail stores. Some suggestions for stores include creating hygiene spots for employees and customers, like hand sanitizers at the doors, have designated shopping hours for high-risk groups, and place barriers between customers and employees at the checkout lines.
People need to be able to buy groceries and medicine and other essentials without fear and be confident they can protect themselves from the virus.
Again, that order goes into effect at 5 o'clock today. Now, there are also new safety requirements in nursing homes as well. No more group activities, including meals. Employees and workers must get their temperatures taken when they enter the facility. Personal protective equipment must be provided to employees, and residents have to be closely monitored for coronavirus symptoms. This new executive order also streamlines unemployment insurance claims. Employees can now file attached claims on behalf of their employees. This will help get benefits to those in need faster. We will continue monitoring your comments on our live stream on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. So just because you're staying at home does not mean you can't visit your doctor. Many primary care physicians are offering virtual visits. Cone Health has completed more than 10,000 online appointments in the last few weeks alone. But Dr. Javier Gutierrez with Cone Health Medical Group Slabauer Healthcare says he understands why some patients are a bit hesitant to log on.
A lot of times when patients hear a virtual visit, especially our older patients, they may be a little hesitant with working or managing the technology, but it is pretty simple to get done.
Dr. Gutierrez and his colleagues want you to know they have options when it comes to virtual visits, and they'll walk you through the process if it's new for you. They're doing different kinds of checkups online, from wellness checks to follow-up visits, and he offered some tips to maximize your time with your doctor. You're getting a jump start look at them right now. First, get familiar with the technology. Log on if you can before the appointment. Make sure your audio and your video are working. That way you don't have to stress about that once your appointment starts. Second, have a list of questions ready for your doctor. If you can check your vitals, go ahead and record your weight, your temperature, and your blood pressure. And if you keep track of sugar levels or your blood pressure, have that log ready like you would for a typical appointment. Have a list of medicines or supplements that you're taking, and wear loose-fitting clothing, especially if you need to show a provider a concern. It'll just make it easier. Finally, make sure you review a follow-up plan at the end of your visit. Dr. Gutierrez says they're ready to answer any questions or help you with any concern, even if it relates to COVID-19.
Since primary care providers have that long-term relationship with patients, we still want to be the place that you can go to get your questions answered. So even if you're having respiratory symptoms, you can give us a call. We know you. We can tell whether you can safely manage those symptoms at home or when you do need to seek urgent or emergent care.
And just a note here, as far as insurance goes, just double check with your plan. Most big insurance companies are covering the cost of that visit like they would an in-office visit. But again, it's best to just follow up there. Well, we all have a role to play in fighting this coronavirus, and it's staying at home. So I ask you on my Facebook page, who are you staying home for? Let's take a look at some of the comments here. Leah Sudler said, I stay home for my mother because she has a compromised immune system. She has an extremely rare muscle disorder along with heart issues. So I make sure she stays home while someone else shops for her. Of course, she goes on to say it's the right thing to do. Terry Moorfeld says he stays home for me because I have COPD, and for my family so they don't have to worry about me, but most of all because it's the right thing to do. Amanda said, my 7-month-old medically complex daughter is the reason I stay home. Ruth Hancock says, my sister, who is fighting 3 types of cancer. And Gia Webster said, I stay home because it's the right thing to do for everyone. I love that final comment there from Gia. It is the right thing to do, and it does impact everyone. Even if you think you're okay, Tahisha, we know that we could be asymptomatic carriers or not realize we have the virus because we're not showing any symptoms.
Yeah, and that's something that we've been hearing more and more the past couple weeks is the number of asymptomatic people potentially, walking around not knowing, and that's why it is important to stay at home. I stay at home for all of the people who are affected medically that have lower immune systems. I'm not going home to visit my family right now. A lot of them have diabetes. My mother has a lower immune system, so it is hard for me, of course, to be away. But like everyone was saying, I know it is the right thing to do.
Yes, Tahisha, you mentioned your family. I'm staying home for mine as well. My sister is pregnant with twin girls due at either the end of May or the start of June. And then my father, of course, a doctor in Mount Airy, staying home for him because he's on the front lines of this. So it all affects us personally, and we have to do our part. We are headed to break, but we are monitoring your comments on our Facebook page. More of the 4 to 5 after this.
One of the main concerns is how COVID-19 spreads. Research shows that a single cough can spread the kind of droplets that carry the virus fast and far. So I want you to take a look at a digital model that a university in Finland put together, showing how far those droplets can go in a typical grocery store. I want you to look because the guy coughs, and in about a minute, the model is sped up and the droplets carrying the virus go over the aisle and come into contact with another person. And then take a look back at the aisle. The coughing person is standing in. The droplets remain in the air for up to 6 to 8 minutes after the cough. So even if someone coughs and walks away, they leave behind those tiny aerosol particles that can carry coronavirus. Now, that is one of the reasons the CDC says you need to wear a mask to block some of those particles from spreading if you cough or sneeze or even talk to someone.
All right, but if you are not wearing that mask correctly, it really cannot do its job. So we're going to go over a few tips from experts about how to wear one of these masks. This is a brand new one from the dollar store. Now, what you want to do, you want to put it on with the loops first. You want to try to avoid touching this part or the back part. And now this is just a mask from the dollar store, but some masks have colors on the outside. You want to make sure the colored part of the mask is always facing the outside. So you put it on by the loops on your ears, and then if it has a metallic part right here where you can mold, go ahead and mold that to your nose before you pull it down over your chin and mouth. You see how it's covering my nose, my mouth, and it's underneath my chin? You don't want to wear your mask down here or down here, and you definitely don't want it to be up here, okay? So these are obviously the wrong ways to wear this. Again, like I said, you want to avoid touching this part of the mask because that's the contaminated part. When you take it off by the ear loops, just like this, and if it's disposable, go ahead and throw it in the trash. Remember to wash your hands before or after you wear the mask, and just cover your face. That's the important part, right? More of the 4 to 5 after this. are getting a better look at storm damage across the Piedmont Triad because you are sending in your photos and your videos when it is safe to do so. And digital expert Jalen Gilkey has been mining through some of the photos and videos that you've sent in. So let's check in with him now. Jalen, what are we seeing?
Yeah, Maddie, we're getting more and more video and photos sent in from you all at home, and we truly appreciate everything. Our first photo comes from Hilltop Road. We got some utility trucks clearing a tree from across Hilltop Road. This is from earlier in the day out in Greensboro. Our next video comes from Alamance County, and this is just debris, as you can see, just widespread all over that 2-lane road near Highway 87 in Alamance County. Our next video is some heavy rain coming down in sheets, as you can see, coming from Caroline out there in Trinity. Also, we got some video from Alma today as she was paired up with one of our photogs, Brian Hall. They were on the highway near Saxbahaw, and it was just some heavy rain coming down. And then this last photo of this Monte Carlo here, that guy, oh man, it's got taken out by this tree out in Pafton. So just a lot of damage, a lot of things going on. People were affected all across the Triad. Really sad to see, but you know, this is what we do best, so we move on past this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what we're doing. The weather's doing that as well. Thank goodness. We don't have to deal with anything like that for a while. In fact, looking pretty good in the short term. We got to get the winds down. Winds are still an issue. They're up to 30, 35 miles per hour gusts, not sustained, but gusts are. But that'll calm down heading into the night. Here's the planning forecast for the next 24. You're looking at 50 degrees for tomorrow morning's temperature, so that will be our overnight low. You see that around 7 a.m. or so. 60 by midday with that high temperature tomorrow at 67. And look for sunny to partly cloudy skies overall for tomorrow. You can see the clouds are clearing out as we speak. Another good day for Tuesday. Wednesday, we might see some rain again. We're going to talk about that and show you our long-range 7-day forecast as the 4 to 5 continues.
afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Tahesha Moise and Eric Chilton. Once again, we are practicing social distancing. We've been doing this for a few weeks now, where Eric and Tahesha are able to anchor the 4 to 5 live from their homes and just doing our part wherever we can. Don't forget, this is an interactive news show. Right now, we are live streaming on WFMY News 2's Facebook page, and all of us are monitoring your comments. So get on there and join our conversation. Use that hashtag 4 to 5. Well, it might have been an early morning for many of you. Severe weather hit the Piedmont Triad. Trees fell on top of homes and power lines caused outages. In Davidson County, a woman died when a tree fell onto her mobile home. Beverly Long's husband was sleeping just inches away from her. Now, her husband, Maurice Long, was released from the hospital with minor injuries. Take a look at these images. Lisa Jones sent these in to us. She said her grandparents were without power and water after this bad storm. This is in Lexington on Old Mountain Road.
Also in Davidson County, a lot of people left to pick up the pieces. It was a close call for Megan and Jimmy Robeson. They were sleeping upstairs, but got nervous and decided to head down to their basement. Really a good idea to do so, because as soon as they got to the bottom of the stairs, a tree fell right through their home. You can see just how much damage that caused to their home on Beckner Road in Lexington. No one was hurt in this case.
All right, we look at temperatures right now, and boy, are we warm. And remember, we should be in the upper 60s this time of the year, and we're just pegging out close to 80 for some of you. Look at that regional map there. You see 79 in Pinehurst, 78 in High Point, 76 Greensboro. Burlington, you're at 78 as well. Now, you go to the higher elevations, different story. That cooler air is starting to move in. 58 in Boone and 63 in Galax. Overnight lows tonight, which means tomorrow morning's temperature when you have to get up, 50 degrees, partly cloudy. Winds will die down starting right now into the night. They get lighter and lighter. 67 for tomorrow with partly sunny skies. I want you to know that with satellite and radar combination, we just aren't seeing a whole lot. Finally, it's clearing out for us. But some of those storm reports, and we'll show you more of this later on, but each of those icons, most of them represent wind damage for a lot of folks, some flooding up to the northwest in the mountain and foothill communities. And there you see at the bottom of Alamance County, that tornado. So we'll talk more about those local storm reports and your long-range forecast coming up.
And if you are a heavy sleeper, you might have slept through the storm and you may not have gotten an alert on your phone while you were sleeping to wake you up. Well, our Ben Smart has a step-by-step for you, so next time this happens, you can be prepared.
If you have a smartphone, do this. Go to your WFMY News 2 app. Tap Settings in the upper right. Tap Notification Settings, Severe Weather Alerts. Then make sure severe weather alerts are turned on, and tap the top option to get the most alerts. If you have an iPhone, check this one too. Go to Settings, Notifications, scroll to the bottom, and make sure these government alerts are turned on. Guilford County neighbors can also sign up online for Genie to get location-based emergency alerts by voice, text, and email. The county's emergency management director says if you're forced to choose between seeking shelter and social distancing, choose weather safety first.
When it comes to severe weather, getting shelter is the most important thing. And so while social distancing is super important and we want to keep that as much as we can, in a tornado warning or a tornado watch, getting shelter is the most important thing. And then really making good hand hygiene and covering your coughs and sneezes during that process.
To do for tornadoes, prepare now, deciding where to hunker down. Like a basement, storm cellar, or interior room on the lowest floor. Stay far away from windows. Prepare for strong winds. Get rid of dead or damaged tree limbs. Secure outdoor furniture, trash cans, and anything that could be swept up with the wind becoming a projectile. During a thunderstorm, don't take a bath or shower and stay away from windows.
Is get as low to the ground as possible and as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Those two things will really help you with any type of severe weather.
And you might have heard this well-known phrase about thunderstorms. When thunder roars, go indoors for at least 30 minutes after you hear the last clap. That's because if you're close enough to hear thunder, you're close enough to get struck by lightning.
The first wave of stimulus checks deposited on Saturday, and according to the IRS, direct deposits will continue over the next few days and few weeks to taxpayers. Those who file taxes in 2018 and 2019 will see their checks first, including Social Security beneficiaries. Anyone with disabilities, low-wage earners, and certain veterans who don't typically file a return are still eligible for that check. The IRS launched a web tool for quick registration. You can find that tool on our website.
All right, some people already have those checks. Jill, and you ask them a question about it.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook. I said, what are you going to do with all of that stimulus money? That's what I want to know. What's everybody planning for this? For some folks, it's a substantial amount. So let's look at what you guys had to say on my Facebook page. We'll start out with Scott Lynch. Scott Lynch said, you know what? Giving it right back to the state and to the feds there. I owe both for taxes in 2019. Clinton Webb says, I'm putting it in savings until I see what steps our government is going to take to get it back. Nothing in life is free. Amen, Clinton. That's true. Wanda says, pay bills, get to the church, and then get some food with the rest. And finally, Daryl says, donate to my favorite charity. Simple as that. Some good ideas there, Maddie. I know I feel sorry for our first gentleman who has to give it all back in taxes, but we have to do what we have to do, you know?
Yeah. No, what is it? The two things that are certain in life, death and taxes?
That's it. Always there.
I haven't thought about what I'll do with the stimulus money, but I'm going to wait. Not going to count my chickens before they hatch, right?
Yeah, I'll probably have to buy food knowing my two teenagers who eat me out of house and home.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, let's get caught up this afternoon. We have a 4 to 5 roundup for you. And today, Cone Health is reopening the old women's hospital on Green Valley Road in Greensboro, but it's to take care of severe COVID-19 patients. So you're taking a look at video from the new women's hospital. They're reopening the old location on Green Valley Road. Wesley Long Hospital will also be converted next week to take care of those patients. Now, Cone Health says this will help meet the anticipated increase in volume of infected patients in the weeks ahead. Alamance Regional Medical Center, Annie Penn Hospital, and Moses Cone Hospital will focus on providing care for non-COVID-19 patients. Across the country, more COVID-19 deaths have been linked to nursing homes and long-term care facilities. The AP reports there are more than 3,600 nursing home deaths in the United States, up from about 450 just 10 days ago. Experts say nursing home deaths may keep climbing because of staffing shortages intensified by coronavirus, as well as lack of protective equipment and available testing. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper signed an executive order that imposes new restrictions on these facilities, like requiring staff to wear masks and undergo health screenings and restricting visitors. And Smithfield Foods is closing a pork processing plant in South Dakota after nearly 300 workers there were diagnosed with COVID-19. The plant employs about 3,700 people in Sioux Falls. The head of the company warned the closing could hurt the nation's meat supply. Now, initially, the company announced a 3-day closure just to clean the plant, but then later said the plant would close indefinitely.
A brother and sister in Winston-Salem were tired of just sitting around doing nothing during the stay-at-home order, so they decided to start a bagel company as a way to give back to those in need. Now, that business has really taken off, and it has even inspired others to follow their lead.
It all started with a YouTube video on how to make bagels.
I made a batch and then kind of thought to give some to our neighbors, and then we were like, we could make this bigger.
So a few weeks ago, 17-year-old Posey Lester Niles and her 20-year-old brother Finn decided to start a bagel company called Bone Shaker Bagels.
They used to call bikes Bone Shaker bikes because they were on tires without rims. And so you can imagine a metal wheel going down cobblestone. It really shakes your body.
The pair makes 3 dozen bagels a day and hand delivers them by bike throughout Winston-Salem.
We take orders until that fills up, and then we take orders for the next day. And right now we're full until May.
They ask for donations of $8 for each half dozen and $15 for each dozen. All proceeds go to a charity of the customer's choice.
People have been going to No Kid Hungry, Meals on Wheels, the Second Harvest Food Bank.
The process is pretty intensive.
So you have to make them the night before. you make the dough, let it rise, you knead the dough, you form the bagels, and then leave them in the refrigerator overnight.
Then in the morning, they boil, top, and bake the bagels. Posey even designed the print that's placed on each bag. She says it's worth the hard work.
It's just so much bigger than we would have ever imagined.
As of Sunday, they raised more than $1,000. The siblings plan to retire this business in May as they head to their summer jobs in Vermont. But they've encouraged 4 of their friends to start bread businesses in their city and donate the money to charity.
We might end, but those other ones might keep going.
Now, the pair mostly delivers those bagels by bike, but they do have a few customers that they service in Kernersville, so they load everything up in the car and drive for those. And Maddie, it really is just a great way, very entrepreneurial spirit of those kids, really to get this all together as a way to give back.
Yeah, and I love that, you know, they just found a video on YouTube, right? They were like, how do I make a bagel? Oh, I'll just look on the internet, and there it was.
Yeah, YouTube University, that's what I like to call it. I learn a lot of great things on YouTube. And the one thing that I love is the flavors that they are able to sell. They have, you know, the plain, the everything bagel, cinnamon, rosemary. Okay, now I'm hungry.
That's a wide variety for some beginner bagel makers.
Right. So I'm sad that they won't be able to continue on past May, as they do have those jobs, but they do have other people picking up right after them, and now this is expanding in other cities across the U.S.
I smell a franchise coming.
I know, Bone Shaker Bagels. I love it. I love it. So, you know, this pair, Posey and Finn, you know, they were stuck at home. They had to find something to do to avoid going stir crazy. So I asked you all on my Facebook page, what are you doing to stay sane, you know, in these uncertain times because of COVID-19? So let's get into some of the comments and what you had to say. Carolyn writes, I'm cooking and doing crossword puzzles and praying. Marilyn says, exercising, playing games with the family, using Zoom to check on family members. Michelle writes, puzzles, trying to exercise, laundry over and over again, and work. She's also teaching her daughter things that she won't learn in school. I asked, you know, what is that about? And she said, like ironing. She taught her daughter how to iron today. Another Michelle writes, playing The Sims, occasionally hiding from my 5-year-old, and cleaning a lot. And David writes, finally here, learning to play the banjo. I should have asked David if he learned from YouTube University, because like I said, YouTube is a great place to learn things.
What are you doing to stay busy?
I am watching a lot of reality TV, and it's usually relationship couple shows like 90 Day Fiance and Married at First Sight. I just live vicariously through them. I kind of just turn my brain off and just live in the drama through them.
Yeah, I'm rewatching some Netflix shows that I've seen hundreds of times, but they just are comforting, right? Like, I just need that level of comfort. And on the weekends, I like to be lazy. I mean, I can't leave my house, so I just stay in my pajamas. Not ashamed to admit it. It happens.
Right. I try to be productive more so actually during the week after work, and then on the weekends it's just nothing. I sat on this couch right here for about probably 5 to 6 hours on Saturday, and I didn't move once.
You know, I can confirm that because Tahisha and I actually had a Zoom call, and we were both just sitting on our couches. And it was fabulous. We just needed to relax after that.
Right.
Hey, share what you are doing in the comment section of our Facebook stream. It's live on WFMY News 2, and we'll check in with those, and we'll see you after the break.
Women's Hospital that they're going to be using. Videos are of the old hospital and not the new hospital, because if we're showing the new hospital. Hello, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Yes. Do we have the right video, or I just want to make sure we're airing the right video? Okay, the old one. Okay, thank you.
Hey, we have to talk about a forecast that shows some changes and changes for the better, thank goodness. Although it is going to be a good bit cooler tomorrow than today's upper 70s, we'll take that over what we had last night and this morning, won't we? Let's take a look at the numbers. 50, that'll be the overnight low tonight. We look for partly cloudy skies. We do technically a wind warning, kind of a high wind advisory has now expired. We'll see the winds calm down during the night. Heading into tomorrow, 67, partly sunny. It looks a lot better. Now, the satellite imagery that we're seeing now, the satellite and radar combination, not showing a whole lot. Some of those storm reports, you notice most of the icons that you're seeing across the area were either wind damage or flooding to the north and west. And again, we're looking like all that is a distant memory. 7-day forecast with partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny tomorrow and 67. Cool on Wednesday with more rain, but no storms at 51. Back to the mid to upper 60s to round out the work week.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5, many of you are cleaning up from the storms. Some others are waiting for the power to return. The storms knocked out power to hundreds of thousands across North Carolina. The struggles of recovering from the storms while also staying safe from the coronavirus on WFMY News 2 at 5.
You know, we are all looking for creative ways to have fun these days. That's an understatement. Well, one hubby-wife dancing duo from Hamlet, North Carolina, has something for all the beach music and shagger fans out there. It is virtually the best dance lessons around. Take a look.
So it's always fun when, for me at least, when we talk about beach music in the shagging community. That's a big deal to me. You all know that out there. But, you know, we talk about how strong they feel about protecting the dance and protecting the music, that type of thing. And nobody knows that better than Sam and Lisa West. They have been doing this lately, online shagging tutorials, really, and lessons for free out there. How you guys doing today?
We are doing fabulous. How are you doing? Hope it's well.
Yeah, and tell us how you got started with this, because this is interesting.
Well, that's our livelihood. We teach for a living to the shag community, and we go around to different shag clubs. However, being quarantined, all those parties got canceled. However, we still have the means to do that online, and we just talked it over with some of our students, and they were on board.
Female, male, turn pickup, guys. Better roll.
In this crazy time, people can tune into our Facebook page, and for that hour and a half, they get to do something that they really enjoy. And it's like we've come to their living room to give them a little lesson, and it puts just a little bit of normalcy back right there.
We're doing it to keep the shag community still together, and maybe invite some new folks to our community and learn a brand new dance. And who knows, out of this study-in, we could birth hundreds of new shaggers.
That's awesome. That's always the goal. Hey, thanks for spending time with us today. I appreciate it, guys. We love what you're doing out there. Keep it up.
Now, if you want to check them out, all you have to do is just Google Sam and Lisa's Facebook shag page. It's the first thing that comes up. And you can also link to that story or to that website through our story at WFNYnews2.com. We're coming back.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check. Hello, hello, mic check.
We're told this is an area crews are going to be heading out to work on some lines. You can see back here this huge tree that brought down some power lines, and Duke Energy says that Forsyth County saw the most power outages.
Hey, mic check. The distance between Maurice and Beverly Long, feet, maybe inches, was the difference between...
It's hard. Hi, Callie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hey, COVID-19 affects all of us either directly or through someone we It is time for my 2 cents, and we really started to feel the effects of COVID-19 about a month ago, the week of March 16th. There were no confirmed cases in our state, much less the triad, but a lot has changed over the last 4 weeks. Thousands of North Carolinians are sick, and people are dying from the virus. I know it seems like we've been dealing with this for a while now, but now is not the time to give up. We have to stay in the fight to flatten the curve and stop those numbers from ticking higher. It's hard, without a doubt, to stay home, to not see your family face to face on holidays, to miss connecting with people in person, to feel stuck. But it's harder to think about what would happen if someone you love got sick because people didn't stay home. COVID-19 affects all of us, either directly or through someone we know or love, and the only way to prevent it is staying home. We don't have a vaccine yet. There's not a treatment. Plain and simple, staying home saves lives. Now, I asked people today who they stay at home for, and the responses ranged from my sister, who is fighting 3 types of cancer, to my mom, who has underlying medical conditions. Some are staying home to protect themselves. These are real people who could face real consequences. I know it's not pleasant to think about, but honestly, we have to be real, because it's not just people with compromised immune systems or other medical conditions who need to stay at home. It's us, healthy people, possible carriers, who can stop the spread of COVID-19. Even if you think you're fine, even if you don't care if you get sick, care about someone's sister, someone's mom, someone else. We all have a part to play. Play yours. That's my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
The triad is cleaning up debris while social distancing after severe storms sweep across North Carolina.
A Davidson County grandmother dies asleep in her bed after a tree came crashing down. Hear the heartbreak from our family.
Coming up, hear from the family that hid in their bathtub as storms ripped the roof off their home.
Linemen are on the front line, not just after severe weather, but throughout stay-at-home orders. How their jobs are different today, just ahead.
Families struggling from both sides, fighting the coronavirus while clearing the damage. Their stories are next. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right